Okay, welcome everybody to the Sunday night chart chat where we talk about technical analysis of stocks which have that 10x to 100x upside. We're looking for our 10th 10 bagger, and I think we're pretty close. I think we're going to have 10 bagger number 10. Hopefully, it's going to be more than a 10 bagger. Probably, I think it's going to be within the next 6 months. So we've got a couple of good candidates right now, which I think could have a nice, very nice, explosive run, kind of like what we're used to with some of our big winners in the past few years that have run, 1,200 to 5,000% or more. Let me just run a quick disclaimer here so that, I don't want anybody to think this is all, what do you call it? Advice. It's not. This is not investment advice. Consider this as financial entertainment, paid content. This is, this is not for widows and orphans, as they say, right? This is high risk stocks that we're going to be discussing. And yes, if you want to make the big bucks, you got to take the big risks. That's kind of the way it really works. By the way, let me just add that the reality is, and I've repeated this again, but some of you guys don't understand, but in reality, when you're going after stocks, again, to make that 10x, 100x upside, everybody thinks it's easy. Well, how many 10 baggers have they had, right? Or in how much time? Look, we've had 9 in 20 months, right? Out of how many companies have we introduced in total? We probably had 30 companies, no, maybe 25, whatever the number is. Let's call it 30. Somewhere between 25, 30 maybe. So that's actually a very good hit rate. The statistics, though, in the venture capital business are generally, you're going to have maybe 5% of your portfolio, maybe 10% become a massive, massive win. You're going to have a couple of, okay things, which might be doubles, triples. Then you're going to have half of it is going to be absolute disaster. Write-offs go to zero, etc. We haven't had any stocks go to zero yet, but we've had a bunch of dogs. So we've had, we've had probably a third of the companies we've introduced have been absolute dogs, with fleas. We've had maybe another third have been, okay. They may have doubled, tripled, 5x, and then they kind of, fizzled out, whether it's like, I don't know, Cloud MD, which one, Red Light Holland. I'm trying to think what other we had. We actually had a whole bunch of doubles. I don't consider that a big success because, again, with penny stocks, you really need to have that massive home run if you want to make money. You can't make a profit, going after stocks that only double. You got to have those 10x to 100x type of deals because, of all the high risk. You got to get compensated for your risk. So again, what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to start off actually with, I'm going to do it backwards a little bit. We'll start off with stocks, which I think this week are ready to explode this week in the next couple of weeks. And then we'll kind of go into the macro in terms of the overall market, bellwether stocks, Tesla, ARK, Bitcoin, etc. So with that said, without further ado, let me jump right into this. By the way, if you're just tuning in, make sure you click the like and subscribe button. By the way, I'm going to be kind of moving. I've been trying to do this for a while, but we're going to be moving these chart chat things really to the Penny Stock Billionaire Gang channel on YouTube. So if you want to watch this, you have to go to that channel on YouTube. Just subscribe to that channel, Penny Stock Billionaire Gang. Okay, because I want to kind of have a separation between opinion and like factual company information. Like Wall Street Reporter really is our company information, and this stuff is purely technical analysis, opinion. It's very, very subjective. It's a very biased. Well, not really. It's actually not biased. I think it's pretty. Let me see here. Okay, so yeah, by the way, make sure you join our Telegram channel. We're also on Discord. All the links are in the video descriptions down below. Okay. Let's dive right in. Up stock number one, which is 5 cents, Pharma Drug, PHRX in Canada, LMLLF in the US. So I'm going to kind of start off with a Canadian chart right now. As you can see, what is going on? I've repeated this many times. This stock is breaking out. Every time we've seen a breakout above the 50-day moving average, you've seen some significant runs between, I don't know, 5x, 7x, whatever it is. Just take a look, right? You had it over here. April 2020, broke out from moving average at 3 cents, went to 15 cents. 5x, 5x you could have made, right? 5 times your money. You put in 10 grand, you get back 50 grand. That's 5x, right? Okay, the next time it was 3.5 cents and went to 20 cents. So let's call it 7x. 7 times your money. You put in 10 grand, you would have gotten $70,000 in how long? December. 3 months. Not bad. And the other time was like a month. We did have a fake it. Oh my God, this is terrible. Yeah, last month, or actually back in January, it broke out of 3.5 cents. It only ran to like 6 cents. So you only would have basically made 70%. 70%. I know it's very horrible to only make 70%. I know the bank is paying you, 20% interest on your money. But yeah, so this, you would have made 70%. This time though, this I believe is the real deal. This is what's happening right now. My opinion, this chart is, we're going to see a 10x within the next 3 to 4 months. The company has some, big catalysts. The real big ones though are, I don't know, January, February of next year, because that's when they're going to go into, clinical trials. But in the meanwhile, there is major catalysts in the lab data that they're going to have. They're going to have a lot of lab news, I believe, in the next couple of months. They got, how many programs they have? They got the cephalosporin, 2 cancer programs. They got the DMT for glaucoma. They got the antiviral, which I think is going to be huge. So, I mean, these guys actually do have legitimately multiple shots on goal for, potentially billion-dollar markets. Now, I'm not saying you're going to hold this till they go into commercial. Forget about that. That's nonsense. Basically, the move here is, again, this is not advice. This is purely financial entertainment. I'm wrong 200% of the time. Here is a place where you can get in very low risk. And basically, you want to get out probably before they actually have clinical data. Which, again, buy the rumor, sell the news. That's how it always works. So you want to kind of get out, I would say, before next January, February, I would say, because between now and then, they're going to have a lot of data. By then, by the time they go into clinical trials, whatever, again, buy rumor, sell the news. By the time the good news comes out, which is pretty much, we think that there's going to be some good data, the stock is going to be down, and then it's going to be undervalued, and you can come back in again. You buy the rumor again before they go into phase 2. Hopefully, they get to phase 2, and again, you sell the news probably before they get results from phase 2. So that's the way you got to play these things. You don't. This is not a plan to hold a stock for 20 years. This is a plan to make 20 times your money and move on to the next deal. Okay, maybe you never know. It might be a 100-bagger. I do have one stock. I spoke to the CEO today. Again, look, my goal is to bring you companies, CEOs that are, real winners. This is not about, guys who come in 9 to 5. They want to have a salary. I want guys who are absolute winners, killers, okay, who want to go 100x, not somebody who's going to be satisfied their stock goes up 3x. Yeah, I've talked about this before. I know this is very controversial when I say, look, the whole idea is we got to bring you these stocks which are TenBaggers, CEOs that are winners, and our goal really, not my goal, my job really is to hold these guys accountable. We have to hold companies, CEOs accountable, because their job is, what's their job? It's not to run the business. That's what they do with a private company. You want to run a business, private company, you want to do execution, focus on execution, all that nonsense. Go private. Do it on your own dime, okay? Do it on your own dime, okay? You want to take shareholders' money, from investors, the public, you're accountable to them. Now you work for them, okay? So when you work for the public, when you work for public shareholders, you're accountable to them. Part of your job is to deliver news flow, okay? There's no excuse not to have news once a week for anybody, okay? Anybody that's not putting out a press release at least once a week is basically derelict in their duty as a chief executive officer of a public company. That is my personal belief. And again, we've had a couple of these companies that have been deadbeats. Generally, we've had. I think Wall Street Reporter has brought more winners to the public than anybody else. I mean, no, this is without any bullshit. Just again, since we're doing the next super stock thing, since I've been focused on that in the last 2 years, that's been my focus. Only bringing in quality companies. I've brought you 9 stocks that have increased 1,000 to 5,000%. Many doubles, triples, whatever. And look, throughout the history of Wall Street Reporter, that goes back 20 plus years online, which wasn't really heavy. It wasn't really hardcore promotion. It was more like informational interviews, that type of stuff that you see. These everybody doing now that copy what we were doing. But we've had probably, I don't know, literally hundreds of stocks have doubled or tripled. Some of it actually became 100 baggers. I'm trying to think. We've had so many. I don't even keep track of these guys. One guy I do remember is Michael Saylor. I specifically remember this guy, Michael Saylor of what is it? Micro. What the hell is it called? He's a Bitcoin guy now, but Micro Strategy. Actually, so Michael Saylor was a client of Wall Street Reporter. With one of our interview programs back in late, I think it was late 90s, whatever it was. And that became 100 bagger. And that guy was a good promoter. He's a fucking great salesman, great promoter. But anyway, look, the job of the CEO is to, have transparency. Transparency means news flow, right? Look, if let's say you're when you're an investor in a public company, you're a partner in a business. That's the way Warren Buffett sees it, right? Let's say, you're a partner in a private company. You own a piece of a pizza shop. You own, 5% of a pizza shop, right? That's whatever. You have the right to be calling that owner, once a week and saying, "Hey, Paulie, what's going on? How many pies do we sell? What's, what flavor? Yeah, you want to get a report, right? That's you're entitled to that. Same thing here. So anybody who's not putting out news regularly and who is doing, outreach, investor outreach in a professional manner is derelict in their duty. Okay, enough with that. Pharma Drug is definitely not that company who is derelict. Pharma Drug is doing a phenomenal job. I got distracted, but the point I was making was, so today I was talking to a CEO of a company. I'm going to tell you about it later. This is a guy. How many CEOs do I speak to on Sundays? Very few. This guy quite regularly, okay? I believe that stock will be 100 bagger. I am certain it'll be 100 bagger, okay? And it's not going to take 6 months. It's not going to take 9 months. To go to 100x for that company might be a couple of years. It might be a 2 to 3 year deal, but I'm quite certain we will see a 10x on that stock it's going to take a little long. It'll probably be 12 months, like literally 12 months. I'm trying to think, what are the stocks that we've had? It took them 12 months to go 10x. Peak FinTech, it took them 10x. Visibility Group took them 10 months to go 10x, a couple of others. So if you have to wait 12 months to get 10 times your money, I don't think it's so bad. But if you really want to, shoot for the stars, I think that stock, based on my discussions that I had today, I don't want to give inside information, but I think this thing is positioned for 100x. Okay. Back to Pharma Drug, which I believe is a 20 bagger stock minimum. Let me pull up the chart again. Okay, so we're at a nickel Canadian. So 20x is $1. I really do believe this thing is going to run up to, again, let's go back to the chart. Forget about the fundamentals. Who cares about the fundamentals, right? Charts don't lie. Here's what you got going on. You got one, you got a massive base double bottom. You see that over here. Number two, breakout above the 50-day moving average. I mean, you have like a 90% success rate. Every time it breaks out, it goes up. You got the MACD lines crossing over, turning up. Very, very bullish. But here's the key thing, because you know what? Look, let's face it. You know, Canada, the Canadian listed, Canadian CSC. I mean, CSC. You know what I say? Canada is a. What do I say about Canada? What kind of country is Canada? That's right. Look, Canada is a shithole country. At the end of the day, what matters is what the U.S., what the Americans are doing, okay? And the Americans are buying pharma drug LMLLF. Okay, how do you know they're buying it? Look at the volume. Look at this volume. So we kicked off our U.S. marketing outreach institutional investor awareness campaign. What is it? Almost 10 days ago, a little bit over 10 days ago, it's called, right? And here you go. You can see the volume starting to happen. The volume is kicking in. On Friday, we had our first millionaire day in how many months? Since October. It traded over 1 million shares in the U.S. Listen, I know it's not 100 million. Again, it's a nickel stock, so it's not that big of a deal. But look, it went from before that. It was trading. How much was it trading? 100,000 shares a day, 50,000, 30,000. It's like $1,000. Now it's trading 1 million shares, and this is only 10. We're only getting started. So this kind of goes to show you, and the volume is increasing. The volume, so the stock is going up. The volume is increasing. How many times do I have to repeat this? Stock is going up. The stock is breaking out. The volume is increasing, and here's the key thing: volume. You got to watch the volume. The volume action precedes price action. In case some of you don't know what the word precedes means, precedes means it goes first. Okay, so first comes the volume, then comes price. Once you see there's a lot of activity, all of a sudden the stock catches up and starts moving up because, action. People want action. So this thing, LMLLF, is going to be moving up. You know what? I think in protest against Canada, I am only going to be featuring the U.S. stock tickers as a what do you call it? As a protest against what's his name? Trudeau? Yeah, Trudeau. Even though he gave me the Order of Canada. I'm not wearing my Order of Canada pin today because it's it's a Sunday. But yeah, this is let's face it. I mean, the U.S. is where it's at. Very important. Yes, so let me go into here. Okay, so pharma drug is positioned to do very, very well this week. I think we're going to see massive action. Keep this on. Listen, I'm not giving you advice. Do whatever you want. I couldn't care less. But I think you're going to see some massive action. Okay, next. Here's another one, which is next on our hit parade, where we're gonna start, doing our magic this week, like Monday, Tuesday. Get ready. Nova Mentis NMLSF in the U.S., Nova in Canada. Again, here's another stock. It's above the moving average, and this one you can't really trust the moving average here. It's had some fake outs. You had a bunch of fake outs, so it's not as accurate here. It's like 50% accuracy, basically. You get too many fake outs with a 50-day moving average. But we're above it, which is good, which is a positive. And you're going to see this week some activity starting maybe tomorrow. I don't know. I'm not saying anything, but NMLSF. Here we go. The American ticker. As you can see, there's not a lot of data yet in the chart. It's a very new chart. Again, you're not seeing anything. But again, you can see what's going on here. So the stock is bouncing off this moving average. It's using that as a support. Stock is ready to go. I think we're going to see the moving average cross over. We've been seeing a little bit of volume coming in here in the last month, but we haven't really done anything. We haven't done any real marketing on this to U.S. investors yet, and that is going to start this week. So here you go. I'm giving you inside information. This week, Monday, Tuesday, we're kicking off. You're going to start seeing activity. Organic Garage. You know, I shouldn't be pulling up the Canadian. I should only be looking at the U.S. symbol, OGGFF, because, I mean, this stock, it's a Canadian, you know, organic retail specialty retail and groceries, plant-based. It's based. They got 4 grocery stores in Toronto. And this stock is trading more in the U.S. since we've gotten involved. Look at this volume in the U.S. It went from 0. I mean, look at this. This is the chart. There was no volume. All of a sudden, October, boom, it's trading hundreds of thousands of shares daily. And again, volume precedes price. Why would American investors be interested in Origin Foods? I keep calling it Organic Garage. It's wrong. It's Origin Foods. Why would they be interested? Do you think maybe they understand the potential that the company's going to open stores in the U.S. at some point and it could become like the next Whole Foods, but better? They can bring their plant-based brands into the U.S., and which is a massive market. So that's, you know, the market is kind of telling you the truth in advance. You know, the market precedes reality. The market precedes actual facts on the ground by about 6 months, right? So, you know what? The market always drops 6 months before recession and usually starts rising, you know, 6 months before the start of a rebound, right? So this thing is telling you, Origin Foods, I think we're in a good position. I'm not going to go through the whole thing about the fundamentals. The last couple of days are looking a little weak. I'll be honest with you. The last few days, it's done this weird thing where it pops up and then closes lower. I'm not thrilled with that. I'm not completely thrilled, but let's see what happens. We might. I mean, this stock might pull back a little bit here, like a penny or two, and then, you know, just to shake the weak hands out, and then it could take off. I think Origin is 250 in the next 10 months. I think it's going to take about 10 months to get there. So we're looking at, you know, it's probably by December. But I think we could be $1.25, $1.50 by August. I think we're going to have a very, very hot summer with this thing. Okay, let me catch up. Should I catch up with a couple of questions? Actually, hey, let me pull this up. I haven't looked at this. I haven't looked at GazX. You know, GazX, we brought it on as not really. It was more like an intro. We did a very like kind of. It was a very what's the word? Just kind of an informational thing. We didn't really do a big program. But I got to tell you something. The CEO of that company, what's his name again? I'll remember it later. Anyway, that guy is that guy's a superstar. I mean, he's run some major business, massive track record. I mean, this is not like a penny stock guy. This is a guy who's, I mean, he's partners with, what's his name? What's that other guy? Frank Giustra, yeah. Who's, you know Frank Giustra in Canada, multi-billionaire in the mining business. This guy is very involved with mining, he's got coal, he's got the gas, he's got gold. Super bright. Oh, Serafino. There we go. Super bright guy. I think this thing is going to do very well. We're not working with them right now, but yeah. Okay, so we got involved with this. When did we get involved with this? I think it was over here. I think in March of last year. Yeah, so basically, I think it was like at $1. April, March. I don't remember. I think it was around $1, maybe $1.30. I don't know. Pull back. It's up. It's been up into twos. But yeah, they got a big gas project in Colombia, natural gas. We know what's going on there. I think this thing is going to do very well. I think that thing is going to do well. Again, I'm not giving you advice, but you know, AAA quality management. I'll put it that way. So, there we go. Serafino. Yeah, that's right. That's basically. Listen, track record is extremely important. Track record counts. Okay. You have multiple winners in that company in NG. That's That's to me, that's the investment thesis. Okay, that's the thesis for that stock. Okay, you got Serafino, you got Juice-Straw, you got a couple of other guys. These are real guys. They're not, they're not here to do like a pump and dump to make 25 cents. Speaking of track record, by the way, speaking of track record, that's why I believe Nova is going to be potentially a $2 to $5 stock. Look, it's a $10 million market cap. Why? Because look at what you called. The guy who's really running the show is Dr. Houseman. He's the guy running the clinical program. He's the chief medical officer. He's the guy behind the science, everything else, and he ran a New York Stock Exchange company. And it was, again, look, it might have been in the 80s. Okay, it wasn't last week, but it's the same process. He's taking drugs from the lab, from like a dish to the market. I think he's had 6 things approved by the FDA, a couple of devices, a couple of drugs. I think it was 6 or 8. I think we're 6 total. 6 NDAs. Was it NDAs? Is for drugs. So you got devices, drugs. By the way, his stock, that what the hell was the name of this company? Medi, whatever it was called. Whatever the hell it's called. His original New York Stock Exchange company. That was started off as basically a penny stock. Not a penny stock, like a NASDAQ small cap, if you will. And that became a 100-bagger. I think it was like a $2 unit, and it went to like a 50 or 100, whatever. I don't know. It doesn't matter if it was 50 or 100. Who cares? But it was a massive win. Who else is involved in the company? The co-founder. Might be a little bit controversial, but the co-founder, one of the founders of the company, is Derek Ivani, right? So it's a good match. You got Marvin, who's an older guy. You got Derek, who's in his 30s, super successful guy. He ran a cannabis company that went up from, I think, was a nickel to like $2. No, not $2. It went to like from 2 cents. It was like a multiple. It was like 100. I don't know if it was a 100-bagger or 150-bagger. I don't know what the exact math is, but it was super successful. The stock did extremely well, like over 100x. And look, when somebody has success like that, they tend to repeat. History repeats. Winners produce winners. That's the way it works. And a guy who's, I think I read you last week from my drug development book here, my textbook here, but this is the guy who wrote it. Said, look, it's a fact. Teams who have a track record developing drugs, getting drugs to market, tend to repeat that success again and again. So I think we're in a good. By the way, his company was Medco Research. So essentially, he is a clinical research organization. So it was almost like, think of it as like a wholesale drug developer. So basically, they did all the actual work for Pfizer, whoever it is, all these companies. They actually did all that all the research stuff, all the lab work to get these drug trials going, and they got their own product, etc. So again, they're doing a drug for what the hell is it called? Autism, memory. Maybe I should start taking it because it took me a while to remember Sarfino's name. So they got this drug which is going to go to Health Canada for a phase 2A trial in next, I think 6 weeks roughly. Could be six. It's going to be by late May, maybe June. They're manufacturing the capsules now. This is based on psilocybin, so mushrooms. Again, it's not just regular mushrooms. There's a lot to it. But yeah, so you got a $10 million valuation. What is the thing worth when they get to phase 2A? Let's say they get some good data. 20x. That's $2 a share, basically. If they get some good data, that's about 20x. So 20 times would be, that's $200 million US valuation. That's nothing because, they could do, they got the orphan drug designation for the Autism Fragile X, but that's just for starters. It's like the appetizer. Not even the appetizer. That's the what do they give you in some of these restaurants? What do they call the amuse bouche? The little thing they give. The chef gives you. It's like a little gimmick, just a little taster. Not even the appetizer. Just to give you a little. It's going to be just a little teaser. The real money comes from off-label, label expansion. They go into other things. It could be potentially treatment for Alzheimer's, for Parkinson's, neurological disorders. Multi-billion-dollar potential. So what happens at phase 2A? I believe they get some licensing deal with a big pharma company. Maybe somebody buys them out at phase 3, something, maybe next 6-9 months. But you get a real clear path to a 20-bagger in the next, before July. So yeah, the chart's looking very nice. Look how high the stock has been. I'm sorry. I apologize. I was not showing you the right chart. This is the big view. This is a stock that has traded as high as $4 a share. That's what the chart says, right? Forget about what the company was doing. None of that stuff matters. This was a $4 stock at one point. It's a fact, right? You see it right there on the screen. Now, again, just like winners tend to win again, successful drug development teams get drugs to market again and again. Stocks, when they have a good story with the right key ingredients, tend to repeat that process. So could it be a $4 stock? I believe it fucking can. I mean, look at CBDT. CBDT, very, very similar, by the way, very similar. CBDT, we introduced that at nickel, and they had 1% of what these guys have, like not even 1% of the fundamentals that Novo Metis has. And that became a 50-bagger. I mean, that was a 50x win. Look at that. Amazing. Now, of course, look, we introduced it at nickel, and by the way, I should say that our contract with the company expired right around this time that it went to $2 or whatever it was, and we didn't. Listen, I'm not gonna. I wasn't pushing to extend the relationship because this run was not sustainable. I didn't want to hold the bag here for a year, what you see happening. But the reality is, and I don't want to, again, one of the things I said, which company should we be bad mouthing? But listen, it's not about bad mouthing companies. Here's the thing: if I think a company or CEO, company has potential, I have expectation. I have 100% full expectation that company, that CEO, is going to, live up to those expectations. Again, maybe my standards are too high. Apparently they are. I'm sorry, my standards are a little bit high. I'm sorry that some of you snowflakes out there, you're used to, you're not real winners. You get, you grew up. I mean, listen, it's not your fault. It's your parents. Your parents fucked you up. Okay. You had these snowflake things where, you play in a team and you get a trophy for participation, not for winning, for participating, right? Look, we're living in the snowflake era. And I think that has, really lowered people's standards and expectations. You have this new word. What are they calling it? Equity. Everything is economic equity, racial equity. So what does equity mean? It's not equality. Equity means, we're going to try to make everybody equal. So, if you're making $100,000 and the other guy's only making $20,000, they're going to take away, 60 from you and give it to the other guy. So now you're both equal. I mean, that's kind of the idea of equity. That's the idea of equity. This is basically it's communism. That's what communism is. When you hear that word equity, run and vote for Trump 2024. Equality, equity, and these words. I am completely against equity. Even equality. Maybe I'm against equality also. Listen, it's survival of the fittest here. It's kind of let's deal with the reality, right? Look, I have expectations. I think anytime you do something, you should put all your effort into it. If you're going to run a public company, run it to be success. You know, you have an opportunity. You have a company on NASDAQ, you got to go full blast. Don't drop the ball. Okay. I believe that, and again, if I criticize a CEO's actions, it's about that action. Everybody makes mistakes. I make mistakes. These guys make mistakes. I mean, you could read the Bible. I mean, everybody makes mistakes, right? The idea is to learn from those mistakes and do better next time because we're human beings, right? It's a learning experience. What you should be worried about, the ones who should be insulted, are those companies that you don't hear me mention, because that means I have no expectation. I don't think too highly of them. I don't think that they could achieve anything at this point. So if you don't hear me talking about a company, it probably means that either that they maxed out and they're done, or it was just a dud and whatever it is. Okay, so yeah, but CBDT. This is a stock that where if the company did a couple things correctly, you would have seen this thing stabilize instead of dropping from 250 to where it is now at 20 cents, a 90% decline. It would have probably stabilized in like a $1.50, $1.10 range for 6 months. They could have raised money at those levels. Instead, that company raised money at 20 cents, so which is ridiculous. I mean, I know for a fact that they had bankers knocking their doors down to raise money when the stock was making the big run from $1.50 to $2, right? So let me analyze, what did the company do wrong? I'll tell you what they did wrong. And this should be a lesson for all public CEOs if they're watching this, whatever it is. Number one, again, your job is transparency. You've got to be out there telling the story, putting out news, especially when your stock is making a massive move like that. You can't, go MIA. You can't not do news at least once a week. And number two, very important. Here's a company that we basically created the market for these guys. I made this guy basically a star, right? With our program, and built up an audience for him. All of a sudden, I don't hear from him for 6 weeks. I keep calling, what's going on? I don't know. I don't hear from him, but then I see on YouTube, there's YouTube videos. He's doing interviews with, I don't know, some guy, a pajama boy, some guy, some kid in his pajamas, whatever it is, some amateur, who knows, like some random. By the way, which is fine. That's not, great. God bless, right? But it's not a smart idea. I mean, it's not a smart idea to kind of turn away from your main market, what actually worked for you, what made your stock successful, and start going with it. Now, here's what I think happened, which I believe it's happened. Look, I know I am a polarizing figure. I'm a very polarizing guy. Some people don't like my interviews. Maybe they're not articulate enough for them as they might think, or they're not whatever, or not thoughtful enough. I'm sorry, I'm not an MSNBC host. I'm not the Rachel Maddow program. My goal is very simple. I interrupt. I'm rude. I interrupt the CEOs. Listen, I don't really care what these guys have to say. Listen, my goal is to extract information, which is important, which is necessary for making the stock go. That's the main thing. I'm not interested in long stories or whatever it is. If I think they have something which needs to be said, I will interrupt them and get that information, maybe. Or maybe, I'm just excited about what they say, and, I might interrupt, not as to be rude, but maybe I am rude. But I do notice for quite I'm trying to remember, this might be going back to another company. But look, there's always like somebody who a lot of these CEOs, they're not really sophisticated. They're not really promoters. They're kind of new at the game. They don't have capital market sophistication. So, and look, you have guys who write them, say, oh, you need to be doing something more professional. You need to be, this guy is not professional. I remember this with Cytodyne. That was a company. We had Cytodyne, one of our first big winners that we introduced at 50 cents. It went to $10.01. And the CEO was guy not there. That guy's a great promoter. Now, if you think I'm inarticulate, that guy was like really, but anyway, so that was a CEO, and we started 50 cents, stock went to $10. One of the issues was when we did live streams, we had 3,000 people on that live stream blasting questions during the Q&A. And this is a biotech company with a lot of like scientific stuff. And I got questions, hundreds of questions coming at me. And, I'm just trying to read. And a lot of people were complaining, oh, the guy is asked the same question twice, or this guy didn't answer. He didn't. So I think this guy took it. Oh, maybe I should not do. I should trust. Here's kind of the reality, right? Every company that stops. In other words, every company that succeeds with our program, and when they stop using it, they switch to something else, they all end up failing. I mean, it's 100%. I don't know. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I'm maybe one guy, which is an outlier. But 90% of the time, when you see these guys, stop using the program, usually they end up going down. I mean, I could go through a whole list, whatever it is, but look, I'm seeing this with another company. I'm not going to mention the name, but this is a guy who we took him from nothing to a TenBagger, and I haven't heard from him in 4 months. He paid. Listen, as far as I'm concerned, I'm okay because he paid in January for 3 months, and actually very let's just say he was grandfathered into a very low price, which I could never do again. I mean, our new rates are like, how much are they? They're like 2.5 times high. It's like he would never pay that because the guy, he doesn't understand the value. But all of a sudden the guy's not putting out news, which is very bad. The news is not coming out. He hasn't been on our program in 4 months. His stock is down. The U.S. volume is drying up. His stock is down 50%, and I see he's about to do some amateur hour interview. I'm sure it's going to be very nice, very articulate, thoughtful questions, very polite. All this nice stuff. The participation trophies. Everybody's going to have a nice warm cup of tea, and it's going to be like what's Ellen DeGeneres, the comedian. What is everybody's going to funny. And then what's going to happen then? Now this guy is he's talking to bankers in the U.S. who are nasty guys. I mean, H.C. Wainwright, I like them, I respect. But when you get into bed with some of these guys, you start talking at their conferences, next thing you know, there's going to be a nasty financing, which is going to overhang a stock. And, you're going to have, hedge funds shorting your stock for the next 20 years. I would suggest to this gentleman that, he think twice before doing that financing, unless he's extremely desperate. The main thing that you want to do at this point is to do an aggressive marketing campaign, get your stock price up, get it to a significant level. Then you can do a good financing, and you can have, the idea is you want to do a financing when the banks are coming to you and you can dictate your own terms. You don't want to do one of these things where, somebody's basically going to be just shorting your stock, trying to scalp, 5% with a war. You don't want to do that. That's, anyway, why am I saying this? Because I'm a fucking shareholder in that company. That's why. And I am going to be, if I see something is not being done correctly, I might get vocal, beyond this. Anyway, let's see. Okay, so bottom line is CBDT. That was a case in disaster. Let me give you a success story. Let me give you what I believe is going to be our next big winner. Okay. Nextech, NEXCF is back. Nextech, stock we introduced August 2019, 50 cents, went to over $10. It was Yeah, 50 cents. No, that does make sense because this is the Canadian chart. This is confusing. So it was 60 cents. Whatever it is. Look, it was a 12x, 15x. What difference does it make? The point is this. This company, they just, Evan is back. The band is reunited. And this is going to be, in my opinion, 10x for starters. The stock has to build a base right here. So again, we just got started. I think we're starting to stabilize. You can see what's going on in the US. We got volume coming in. Friday, there was some pretty decent volume. Let's see here. But again, look, they did a financing with this H.C. Wainwright, and that's been overhanging for a while. So it's going to take us some significant volume in the next maybe weeks to get it going again. But I believe we're going to build a base kind of in this range. We'll probably have to get to like $2. It's going to be like a bowl kind of thing. And then, we could start moving. We got to get above this moving average, which is at 92 cents. But let me tell you this. The base will come in my opinion. It's going to take a little bit of time. It's not going to be 2 days. But when this thing starts moving, I got to tell you something. This company you have no idea what's in the potential pipeline. It's like incredible stuff. I'll put it this way. Actually, I'm not gonna say too much. I don't want to say any inside information or anything. But this stock could be a legitimate 100-bagger. Forget about the fundamentals. I don't really care what the company does. Look, track record. Quality of management is the most important thing, right? Again, VCs at the end of the day, they bet on management. You want somebody who's going to be a winner, who's got that drive to go 100x, the champion. That's what you have with Evan Gappelberg. This guy is a winner. You can see, look, forget about what I say. Don't believe anything I'm telling you. Look what the guy's been doing. Nonstop news. Every week news release comes out. How is it possible? A lot of CEOs tell, well, we don't have news. We have so much, we can't talk about this. We have that, blah, 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 blah. Everybody has news. It just takes a little bit of creativity, a little bit of time. Look, if this guy's doing it, he's got anybody can do it, okay? It just takes a little bit of time to do it. And that's your job, right? So massive news, transparency, he does all the promotion. I think, look, the only problem is he hasn't been on our platform for the last 12 months. Otherwise, the stock would have been, it wouldn't have been at these levels. But now we're back. This is going to be a $10 minimum stock, in my opinion. And then we could be going to, I hate to tell you this, but $100. I know it's $10 billion. I know it sounds crazy. But I believe there is a path to get there. We'll find out. Look, we might find out next couple of weeks. Let's find out. But yeah, that stock I believe is going to do well. But again, look at the U.S. volume. The U.S. volume is starting to pick up. Let me pop in the. Can I see? It's a little bit early to say, but yeah, here we go. So you can kind of see it's starting to happen. Here it is since April. We're starting to get some volume. You'll see this week. You're gonna see what's going on. You'll be pleasantly surprised. Again, we're below the moving average. So if you're a conservative guy, wait till it gets above the moving average. Oh, this is the 1 hour chart. I'm sorry. So let me go back to the 1 day. If you want to be conservative, wait till it breaks out above $1. That's actually very sensible. This is the American chart, by the way, NEXCF. I'm not even pulling up the Canadian NTAR because who cares about Canada? Look, this is an American company. This is going to be a NASDAQ stock soon, and that's what matters. Okay, so let's go to. Let me see if I can answer some questions. Pump, and pump some more. I agree with you. Interview opportunity from Finnish Ace. You know what? This is actually that's a thing I do. I don't finish sentences. I've been told this. I don't know why that is. but I think it's a feature. It's a feature. It's that's what you get, man. That's what makes the stocks go. Listen, don't you don't want to change anything. It's funny because I was talking to a guy a while back because I was out of the whole stock business for a while, and I started doing these live streams. And I've only done, I mean, I used to write research reports, all that stuff, but I really try to stay away from doing interviews. Like Wall Street Reporter did, probably 10,000 interviews, between 97 and I don't know 2010. I think I did 5 of them. No, maybe I did 20, 30, whatever. Very small number. I had analysts, everything else. So when I got doing the live streams, I was thinking, well, maybe I need some like professional help to be, the better speaker, whatever. But then I realized, and I met this guy who was actually that's what he does. He was a broadcast, an anchorman, and now he does jury consulting. So he's involved in that. So he's basically I guess like a speech image guy, whatever. And he said, yeah, I could, this is what the guy says. Yeah, I could make you into superstar. I could fix you. I just need 1 day with you. I said, let me think about it. Then he quoted me, what did he tell me? He told me 10 grand. I was like, oh, shit, 10 grand. Listen, if it works, but then I thought to myself, you know what? Why fix it if it ain't broken? I mean, at that time, we were, I had a bunch of winning stocks. Why would I want to change it? Maybe that's the thing that's working. Imagine that, right? Let's say I start sounding like, I don't know, who's the guy, I don't know, whoever the anchorman is in the U.S. now. Peter Jennings? No, I don't know. What's Tom Burrow? I haven't watched TV and who knows. Whoever is the anchorman. Let's say I sound like this guy. It may not work because, look, look, there's professional guys out there who do these. Who's the guy? Proactive, whatever it is. That doesn't move stocks. Nobody gives a shit, what the interviewer sounds like. The star of the show is the CEO. Okay, let me give you a hint. I know the stock game a little bit. I've, probably produced, I don't know, hundreds of billions of dollars in value, increases in value in my career. I've written books on this subject. I'm actually going to redo one. I'm going to be doing an updated version of my the Bible of stock promotion that's going to be coming out soon. So you know what? I think it's better if I don't finish sentences. So that's it. Yeah, listen, this is the problem. Listen, Rush Limbaugh. I never really understood. I wasn't really a fan. I never really. I guess he's a very political guy, but yeah, this guy. He's correct. Absolutely right. This is the problem now. Is you have people who have low standards because that is what the Democratic Socialist Party, the whole that mentality is to make everybody the same. The socialists, the Democrats, the communists, they want everybody to be at that same level except for them, the elite, the few guys. So, I grew up in the Soviet Union, right? And, everybody was equal, right? But the party, the guys, the party leaders, whatever, they had the dacha, which is like a nice house on the Black Sea. They had the privilege. They had cars, right? The average person didn't even have, I don't think, for sure they didn't have a color TV. They didn't have definitely not a washing machine. This is the thing. This is what you need to be. We need to be raising high standards, not settling for being average, mediocre, losers. Like you see with there's a lot of promotion guys who just look, they're happy to just give a company interview. You have Proactive, you have that guy, what's his name? You got Greasy George, you got I don't know who else is there. There's a bunch of these guys. Who cares? Who cares? This is let's see here. No to both of them. Why stock price not correlate to fundamentals? It never works that way. That's stock investing 101. They're never related. Either they get ahead or they're behind. Either a company is overvalued or it's undervalued. And then at some point, they might catch up for like a minute, but that's the opportunity. So that's the way it works. I see we got a lot of opinions. People saying this is the only company, that's the only company, whatever. I do believe. Look, I do believe that they have the fundamentally. They actually have something which could last. I mean, I don't know about 100 years, but who knows? Maybe a company evolves. I'm just concerned about the next 12 months, not the next 12 years. But yeah, this could be long-term, very good company. Look, it's a retail specialty business, brands. Who knows? It could be like the next, what CPG brands are there? Heinz, Kraft, Dana. I mean, Nestle, whatever. You never know, right? So it's a different business. It's a different business. I do think very highly of Origin, OGGFF. No. Just by coincidence, we got a couple of those stocks. We got a Pharma Drug. Actually, no. Well, no. Origin Foods, easily 250. I've done. I went through the fundamental story. I know. Look, I know you're trying to be a wise guy, whatever. I just want to embarrass you in public. So I'm answering your questions, so you can look back on this video, in 6 months, and cry, commit seppuku, So yeah, basically, Origin I think is on track to 250. Novamind, NMLSF, Nova, easily a 20-bagger plus, $2, 250, because it's probably going to overshoot. I mean, in theory, it could only be worth $1.50 to $2, but these things tend to overshoot. Might go to $3. Who knows? Yes, 100x company. I don't know about 100, but yeah, they've had 100 baggers. The CSC is good as a no. I disagree. The CSC is actually better. The OTC is absolute garbage. I really want to get back to doing U.S. companies again, but I need to do NASDAQ only. I can't do OTC because it's I mean, quite frankly, the economics, the economics just it's just too difficult with OTC because it doesn't work. It doesn't work from what we're doing here. But NASDAQ, I'd like to get back into the NASDAQ game, maybe next month or so. We've had, the last NASDAQ company we had was FOMO. So the company we introduced at $8. It was originally called Face Bank. They did a merger with FUBO TV, FUBO FUBO, the New York Stock Exchange, and that stock, I'll pull up the chart. That stock ended up going to over $60. So we got involved right here, February of 2020. Yeah, it was $8-9. Went down a little bit, popped to like $20. Built a base. Look, if you watch our old videos, we went through all that stuff. And then it went to $60. And then, and I, by the way, if you watch some of our chart chats back and whenever I said, hey, this thing is it's gonna make a run. It's gonna make a run. Yeah, I got to get back to NASDAQ because the reality is this. I think there's better opportunities right now in NASDAQ, I believe, because the Canadian markets just got blown up in terms of the Canadian investors. And we got to go in the blue water, deep ocean. By the way, just I know some people don't understand my humor. I know sometimes these things don't translate, but that was a joke. I'm not, I'm not insulting Canada. This is not meant as, that stuff. It's Humor. Maybe it doesn't translate well. Hey, I don't know. Listen, I'm holding both. Oh, actually, no, I don't have. I have options on OG. I don't have shares yet, but I hope they both do well for sure. I know that OG is. I mean, listen, OG is doing all the right things. Quite frankly, in terms of news flow, transparency, market awareness, everything else, and the guy's done everything he promised he would do, which is important. And I got to tell you, by the way, just running that business or Origin Foods, it's just as much more work than running some tech business. Okay, when you have employees, retail stores, you got I don't know, trucks coming, you got whatever. That's a lot of work. So if Matt has time to do our program and everything else, nobody has excuses not to do this stuff. Okay. Oh yeah, let me get down to this. Yeah, let me get to this. Okay, so peak. You know what? I'm not going to say anything bad about peak or anything because we had a good working relationship with the CEO. He did everything. He was a gentleman. He did everything he was supposed to do on our end. So, but I'm not going to say anything about peak. So yeah. Okay, so let's get to the big. Let's get to the big stuff, the big picture now. Okay, let's get to IX. Okay, Nasdaq. Big picture. Very shaky. Nasdaq looks. This is an ugly picture. Starting to form. This is we might see some headwinds coming in. We popped above this 50-day moving average, right? And everybody's saying, okay, the bull market is back on. It's back on. And you had some good follow through days. I mean, it really looked good. I remember if you remember you watched, we talked about this. I guess 2 weeks ago, I said, this could be a good possibility. This is a fake out, a trap. And it's turning out that way. I mean, look, you had this gap down, and it's accelerating. Not good. You have the MACD lines crossing over. I mean, it's actually looking pretty ugly, very ugly. Here's the 4-hour chart. I mean, could it turn around? I mean, it's holding onto this. I don't know. The odds are not good. I mean, this is an ugly look. So Nasdaq is not looking good, and of course, that's not good for most stocks. However, the only good thing is, if you notice, a lot of our micro caps, those charts don't look like this. They've already been, they're low. They've been building bases for the last year almost, right? So I think a lot of those stocks are pretty safe. I don't see any big downside with a bunch of those stocks. I mean, we'll see. I don't know. Look, I think it's very important for companies right now to be aggressive in professionally marketing their story, because what happens in a bear market is the companies that maintain visibility, their stock price does not decline as much. Because right now, let's be honest, it's not even so much about increasing stock price. We're in the defense game. It's about really keeping stocks from going down. And what we've seen is right now when companies stop promoting, it's like the floor. It's like the rug gets pulled right from under them. I mean, The trap door opens up. I mean, it's just, you got to promote right now. Otherwise, your stock starts drying up. You got to be on the defense. So NASDAQ looking ugly. ARC. But here's the thing. I mean, we got like the biotech stocks. I showed you newer. What is it called? Novamind, Pharma Drug. Those things are counter-cyclical, really, to an extent, right? So where's my ARC? ARKK. Okay, so ARC, the Cathie Wood ETF, also, I mean, very similar. I mean, it's kind of like like the Nasdaq chart, but worse. Much more leveraged in those disruptive innovators. It's been going down for the last year, so it's actually almost similar to some of our micro caps. But what's going on? I mean, you got this breakdown below the moving average. You got this with the gap. It's looking really ugly. Like, I mean, originally, if you recall, back whenever it was, I said, look, I think these things could go as low as, well, $40, $35, I said on Cathie Woods. This level here, $38 maybe. The old low. At least this over here, at least like 42, 45, at least this level. But then you had this like real kind of like V-shaped head and shoulder, inverse head and shoulders bottom, and what looked like a break. And I said, hey, you know what? The bottom looks like the bottom is in. If you remember, I said this is, I don't know, 3 weeks ago when you had this inverse head and shoulders happen. We broke above the moving average. I said, hey, it looks like the bottom is in. I almost said, but I did say, like, you never know, but it looks like the bottom is in. Well, now we know that the bottom is probably not in. It's probably going to get a little bit uglier here. We might see a capitulation happen somewhere here. When everybody vomits, basically, is the bottom. So maybe $35. So you could drop another 50%, but it's not the end of the world. I mean, look, it's really not going to be the end of the world because it's going to come back. I don't know, we'll go to 200, but you might drop to $35. And if you wait 2 years, I think a lot of those stocks are going to come back and you'll be back at, $100. So it's not 100% that bad, right? Okay, so BTC, Bitcoin. Yeah, this one is also a little bit shaky right now. It's not, I mean, so the MACD line is bearish. The MACD crossover is bearish. You have what is potentially, I think this is really turning into now a head and shoulders top almost. It's turning into a head and shoulders top. We're above this moving average. That's the only saving grace. And it's kind of, what's interesting is, I think a lot of people, because Bitcoin is basically, let's face it, Bitcoin is, it's just a fugazi in the reality. Even though, look, I'm kind of a half believer in it, but it's basically just bullshit. I mean, it's pure sentiment. It's trading pure sentiment. And as a result, a lot of people, 99% of people traded off of the charts, the technicals, the moving averages. Everybody watches that moving average. And the fact is, it's held up. So, so far it's, the trend technically is still up, but it's getting really close to breaking down. And I think it will probably break down. There you go. The 1 hour chart already broke. So this is not looking good. The 4 hour chart, it's blown. Actually, no, you got to. The Bitcoin is very shaky. I'll put it that way. It's very shaky. Unless you have a massive follow through, like unless you got this day where it goes from 42, where it is now, from 42 to like 45. Some couple of big heavy days like that, up days. I don't see that much hope for it here. I think we're going to go back to maybe that. I mean, not even 30,000. I think really the number is probably 10,000. I mean, there's no reason why Bitcoin should not be trading at 10,000. You know. By the way, we're in Telegram. It's free. Ah, TBPMF. MIA, that stock. Yeah, so that was by the way, that was a biotech stock. It tripled. When after we introduced it, it went from 17 to, I don't know. Let me pull up. Let me just pull up for shits and giggles, as they say. What was the high in this stock? 60 cent, 50 something. Yeah, so we introduced it here. I think it was 14 cents. And again, they had clinical trials coming up, whatever. And the stock tripled in like a month. And I think there was some, look, we talked about this. I don't need to repeat the story. There was a couple screw ups with the company, but they ended up doing a dilutive raise much later. It just wasn't properly done. I don't believe you're going to have anything like that at all with these two guys, because Nova Drug and Nova Mentis. The people behind Nova Mentis, I mean, they're capital markets pros. Derek Avani, guy's a superstar. You're not going to see a dilutive financing there. They're going to do it very, very smart once probably the stock is running up, in a big way. So yeah, I think we could see $1.60, $2 very easy. Pharma Drug, Dan Cohen, very sharp guy, former capital markets guy. He knows exactly what he's doing. I'm very impressed with him. He's a sophisticated capital markets guy. You're not going to see these guys doing some stupid financing. I mean, look, when guys like this see momentum, they run with the momentum. They don't. They take advantage of the momentum. The other companies, they just were not. They didn't really know. They didn't understand capital markets. These guys do. So again, also Next Tech, Evan, that guy's a superstar. So you don't have to worry about stupid missteps with companies like that. So let's recap. This week, our big winners. Pharma Drug is taking off. As you can see, this thing is ready to move. I believe we're going to see the breakout this week. Yeah, it's going to go from like that 6 cent level to maybe, I think we might go to like 12 cents right away, and then 18, 20, 25 cents. Once the stock is trading at 18 cents, once it gets to this level, people are going to go crazy. They're going to go bananas, absolutely bananas. And I believe it's going to happen. It's going to get to that 18-cent level in a month. I know it sounds crazy, but let's check back in 4 weeks, May 10th. If I'm wrong, please, anybody watching this, please mark this down on your calendar. If I'm wrong, you can come back on the, when I'm doing this live stream, you can comment on it, and I'll say I was wrong. It's only 12 cents. I was wrong. I'm happy to be wrong at 12 cents. It's only a double. But yeah, I think it's going to do very, very well. Novamind, this week, things kick off. We're going to see action. They've had some great news recently. This company is making progress. Let's see. You got, and Next Tech. Next Tech this week, we are making the big turnaround. Wait for the stock to go above $1. I think it's going to happen in the next 10 days. And after that, it's going to be you can see a massive run. If you want to take more of a chance, you can get in here. But the conservative move is to wait till it gets above $1. But I'm sure a lot of people will be jumping in. I mean, they understand what the stock is about. They understand the possibilities. Okay, Just so you know, okay, so make sure you click the like. Please click the like and subscribe button on our, especially on our Penny Stock Billionaire Gang channel. After we're done, I'm going to remove this video from the Wall Street Reporter channel because it's not really relevant to Wall Street Reporter. I'm going to take it off from here, and it's going to go. It's only going to be on the Penny Stock Billionaire Gang channel. We're going to move this opinion type stuff over there. So with that said, thank you everybody for joining. I will see you all on the next one.